had a £4,500 overdraft on my bank account. You can see here on 1 month I was overdrawn by almost £3,000. I think the overdraft started off about £500 and then I increased it to £1,000 and then £2,000 and eventually it went up to £4,500.
Look at that. Hey guys, Easier here back on the one for you. So guys, these 3 or 4s are broke as a joke, man. I said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. These knuckleheads are out here trying to be strong and independent.
I am woman, hear me roar, in numbers too big to ignore.
And they're broke. Guys, credit card debt, high interest car loans, bastard kids, right? They're broke. Hey guys, they're so broke, they're constantly having their bank accounts in overdraft. Absolutely insane. Not $0 in their bank account. Guys, they're negative. They're overdrafted in their bank accounts. I want you to stop and close your eyes and think back to any time in your life where you had ever overdrafted your bank account. Absolutely insane. Guys, I've never overdrafted my bank account. Ever. And these chicks are in overdraft for years at a time. So guys, we're going to go to the dumpster right on this TikTok. Look, these dunderheaded broads talking about overdrafting their bank accounts. But before we do that, like, subscribe, drop a comment. Guys, I have a second channel called 50304, so please go and check that out. That's linked in the description. Join my Discord. Check out the playlist at the end. And guys, I'm offering memberships now. So hit the join button or the link in the description because memberships really help the channel out. And guys, let's get into this.
Things I would never do as someone who relied way too much on their overdraft for 6 years. Number one, I would not see that as free money. Forget that the bank can actually ask for this money back at any given time. We should be viewing it as a credit card. It is essentially a credit card because it's loaned money. It's not your money. It's kind of like borrowing. So as soon as you dip into that, you have to pay it back as soon as you can. Obviously, as someone who's relying on it, I don't have sufficient funds to keep me green. I don't have sufficient funds to not be able to fall back into it every month. As part of not seeing your overdraft as free money, I would also not avoid making a plan to pay it back and just assume that it would pay it back eventually as I earn more money. If you get into the habit of seeing it as free money and not borrowing, you're not really going to pay it back because your habits, your financial habits, are going to work off the fact that you have that overdraft amount available for you to use. So what I would do instead is actually make a plan or make a separate savings account with a separate bank to put away a chunk of money that I can afford to put away to eventually pay off this overdraft. Third thing I wouldn't do is just not track what I'm spending, which is obviously what kind of got me into relying on the overdraft in the first place. If I started to track what I was spending every month, I would see where money was being overspent and where I could maybe be a bit more efficient or clever with my spending, because essentially I was spending almost 2k more than I had or than I needed to. I would also not get a credit card because look, if you're already relying on borrowed money with your current account, what is more borrowed money going to do apart from just really sabotage your financial position? Until you've got a plan in place to pay off the overdraft and you know how much you're spending on certain things, maybe it's food shops, maybe it's insurance, things that are kind of variable but also consistent, use credit cards for that purpose. Credit cards just give you more opportunity to overspend and see more money as being free, and then you have to pay that back or succumb to having to pay high interest, which means that you will just kind of stay in that overdraft borrowing position longer. So instead, I would get a plan to pay off this overdraft. In that 10 to 12 month, time period while I was saving to pay off my overdraft, I ended up building better habits, building a better awareness of, money and financial literacy. Once I paid off the overdraft, I was able to not really dip back into it because I didn't have to anymore.
Look at that, guys. See? And guys, she actually thinks that she dropped some truth bomb there, right? Look at that, moron.
With your broke ass.
Clown world, right? Broke. Look at that, guys. Oh, you mean that I have to pay back overdraft immediately? Duh, moron. And guys, look, this comment here says, I'm in a constant loop of having to overdraft to pay my bills, mainly rent. I don't see the end. Look at that. I was planning to debt snowball a student overdraft back in university, but it caused me too much stress. All these knuckleheads here are an overdraft. Absolutely insane. Clown world.
I had a £4,500 overdraft to my bank account. You can see here on 1 month I was overdrawn by almost £3,000. I think the overdraft started off about £500 and then I increased it to £1,000 and then £2,000 and eventually it went up to £4,500 to pay for.
She was overdrafted by £4,500. Look at that. Guys, they should be ashamed of themselves. And they're putting this here on the internet.
Stupid.
Look at that.
For everything with my overdraft. At the time, I only had one bank account, so all of my money went in and out of one account. So with my TSB account, I used to pay off all of my credit cards in full each month, but use my overdraft. All of my bills came out of there, so my rent, my food for the month, my petrol, bus tickets. This was before I could drive. Overdrafts can be a good thing, but was I using it responsibly? Absolutely not. At the time, my income for my full-time job was £1,258 a month. I think from memory I was on about 17 grand a year. My overdraft essentially was almost 4 times my monthly income. I think this is a really important topic to bring light to, because how many people realistically had an overdraft in uni and are still paying it off, particularly for students when they probably don't have a lot of money coming in. They still need to pay for their accommodation and food and living expenses. Some people have asked me about this, but I'm not going to bring up an affordability complaint on my overdraft. At the end of the day, it was a very silly thing to do, but I took out the overdraft and I accepted all of the increases. So for me, I feel like that's my responsibility to deal with the repercussions. I paid off that overdraft quite a few years ago and I haven't had an overdraft since. Mine is an extreme example, but I dread to think how many people are stuck in their overdrafts.
Now guys, I could see if they were talking about credit card, you can fall into that trap, okay? Because there's a lot of dumb people who take out credit cards. But guys, you know and I know that if you're looking at your bank account and there's zero in it, it's like you don't have any money. Or at least that's how us guys think. Because I don't even know the overdraft limit on my bank accounts because I don't come close to it. I save, I invest, right? The idea that you're negative in your bank account is absolutely insane. Look at that. Look at that. This chick says stuck in my student overdraft 3 years later. Look at that. All these knuckleheaded broads, overdraft. Started when I was 24, didn't have a job, got a credit card with an £8,000 limit. Maxed it out. Dang. Look at that. All these knuckleheads here, guys. Cooked. Cooked. And of course, they massively prey on young people. Look at that, guys. Look at that. Once again, no accountability whatsoever. Clown world.
And I have £136 in my account, which to some might not seem like a big deal, but to me, it's a big deal for someone who's been in their overdraft for years. More than a decade, and who has always been stuck at the limit of £1,500 overdraft. That's what I was always on, or even more than that. I was always in my unarranged overdraft with the bank texting me and calling me, and now I actually have £136. I'm not in my overdraft at all.
Look at that.
And I do have to admit, I haven't shut down my overdraft yet. It's still,
of course not.
I still have a £1,500 overdraft. I promise I'm not using it, and I don't want to use it. And I'm definitely going to reduce it. I think I'm trying to be frank with you because I'm not perfect and none of us, we're not doing this perfectly, are we? But I'm just trying. I know I need to shut it down. I know I do. But I'm so pleased. £136. So the worry, I obviously still have credit card debt, £19,000 of credit card debt I'm trying to pay off.
£19,000 in credit card debt. Look at that. Cooked. So you don't have 136 pounds, you bozo? Look at that, guys. Look at that. Was negative in her bank account for 10 years.
You're a bum.
Only has 136 pounds in her bank account.
You're a bum.
Has 19,000 pounds on her credit card.
You're a bum.
You're an idiot. Come on, man.
But the fact that overdraft is gone has just given me such a sense of relief, and I just feel so less tied down, which is so nice. So if anyone else is out there paying off their overdraft, I know there are, just keep going, because you will get there, and it is such a nice feeling. And for those of you who told me right at the start of this journey 4 months ago to pay off my overdraft first, because I was going to wait till the end. I was going to wait till all my credit cards were paid off before I did it. I'm so glad you said that, so thank you so much.
She's never going to pay off her credit cards. Right, guys?
With your broke ass.
Ever. She's going to make an update in 10 years, and she's still going to be, actually, I'm still trying to pay off my credit cards. Or, where are all the good men to help me? I'm single. I say this all the time, guys. We have to draw clear battle lines between ourselves and these broke 304s.
This is where we hold them. This is where we fight. This is where they die.
Don't pay their bills, guys. Don't pay their bills. Don't pay their bills. All right, you guys. This is AJ. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe, guys. I'm out of here. Have a good one.